Hello there, my name is PolishLynx. Welcome to Katawa Shoujo. Apparently we are actually on a fancy date. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is about the last thing I had in mind when Lilly said she'd decide where to have our date. No man or woman is dressed in anything but their finest, their formality only matched by that of their surroundings. A rich red wallpaper adorns the walls, as the city lights far below flicker and glow. Combined with the ambient hum of quiet speech and the high-pitched clattering of cutlery and wine glasses, the mood is very formal, yet relaxed enough for me not to feel too uptight despite this being our first real date. Once we get seated, our waiter leaves to attend to others with a quick bow, after an appreciative nod from Lilly. Far from depending on my help, Lilly managed to navigate herself around surprisingly easily so far, despite the unfamiliar environment. A light brush here and there, and she's generally quite deft at orienting herself as needed. I guess also by sound, right? So good looking. My eyes look to Lilly's. I can tell from her face that she's listening to her surroundings just as hard as I'm looking. Stunning. For truth be told, my eyes are lingering on her each time they sweep across the room. The red cheon gasp she's wearing accentuates her figure very well and shows off her legs. Even her hair is done up and the scent of perfume is just noticeable. While my black suit might be a rental, I managed to select an appropriate one. It feels surprisingly comfortable considering I've so rarely worn one, and fits the setting just as well as Lilly's attire. Black suits are the best, let's face it. And they are comfortable. The suits. The color in this case doesn't matter. But yeah, I guess it's a new experience for both of us then. She turns somewhat sheepish. Hey, I've never come to a place such as this before, no. One hell of a first date, that's for sure. It's going to be pretty hard for me to top this. A small giggle. Even now, our nervousness is dissipating. Her hand skates along the center of the table until it touches the menu, which she takes in both hands and brings to her face. Hisao? As she lowers the beige laminated sheet just below her eyes, I can see another sheepish look. I doubt asking the waiter for a menu in Braille will be productive. I can read it out for you, no problem. I take mine and give it a quick read, my small grin faltering. Hey, perhaps there is. What's wrong? There are quite a few items on here and I'm not completely sure how to pronounce a couple of them. One fine cuisine after another is listed, most maybe in Japanese, but a few are in English and French. I guess it's to be expected, but I have no idea what's the name of these. Dude, I don't blame you. I've never been to like proper restaurant, so anyway. This one I recognize. Wait, hang on. You can cook that? A small giggle of amusement comes from behind the paper sheet. Well, I could read all of them all out, but it would take a few hours. Is there anything with some kind of fish in it? Let's see. No. Aren't those poisonous? No. They eat that stuff? No. Here we go. A tuna salad. Tuna. Seems to be a good bet. From the picture it looks like it'd be pretty filling as well. That seems to be a reasonably safe option. Let's order two, then. I'm pretty sure a couple of these dishes are from poisonous animals. I've had enough dead run-ins for now. Lilly made a smile, but there's a distinct lack of laughter. Black humor mustn't be her cup of tea, for to be honest, I don't find it exceedingly fun either. I know. There are certainly quite a few interesting smells wafting about. The same is true of the sides, I assume. Sorry, I can't move my eyes from you. I've never been anywhere quiet like this. A fancy Japanese tea house on occasion or two, but never anything like this lavish nor European in styling. Before another word can be said, a portly waiter in a distressingly tight vest appears at our table and to take our orders. Provincial tuna salad nikua. Please do. I have no idea if I said it correctly and I don't care. I hope I didn't mess up the pronunciation of that too badly. Even if I did, he doesn't show it. And may I have a glass of Chardonnay, please, Hisao? Same. As the waiter nods and leaves, I suddenly realize what I said by absent-mindedly mimicking silly sounds where I regretted pretty quickly. Alcohol. Only a bit. This girl has a note propensity of getting hooked on things, I swear. Surprising that they didn't ask for identification. Identification. Then again, I guess we both look mature for our age. Do I? Just tell me I'm old, okay? I'll have to take your word for it. How that this isn't what I'd call the type of place to ask such things for. Good point. We both relax a little into our seats, trying to take our minds off the choking formality of the surroundings. As soon as we do, the same waiter appears at our table with 2 empty glasses and a bottle, the contents of which are quickly and professionally poured into the former. We both nod politely as he leaves, slowly taking a glass and gently moving it from side to side. The liquid inside glistens as it moves around in the glass, and I have to admit it makes me a little less regretful for ordering the same. I don't know why the change of voice don't mind me. I guess it must take effort to judge how the liquid inside is acting based only on its center of balance. Maybe it's like her origami, taking every little chance to practice her dexterity. I guess I'm not surprised that you know about a place like this. Those who have money would, I suppose. Why would you say that? This reminds me of just how completely different our upbringings were. In Yamaku, it's easy to forget about social and economic disparity between students all wearing the same uniforms, living in the same dormitories. Well, Akira was the one to tell me of it. She's come here before, apparently. So that's what they were conspiring about on Friday. And you chastised me for cheating. That's not cheating, it's simply making use of personal contacts. If you say so. Still, I get a feeling that you're more familiar with this kind of restaurant than I am. She paused for a moment, a wistful look on her face, before softly smiling. The compliment seems to be right in her mood. Was it a compliment for? You can thank my former school for that. If I were to appear any less, they'd be gravely disappointed. She has mentioned her previous schooling before, but now I'm kind of curious. She seems to think a lot about her past, so I don't see any problem in asking. What was that like? It was prestigious, all girls and Catholic. Ugh. Catholic. But I don't like it. And I don't really follow up on their teachings, really. I said really twice, but whatever. These facts made my parents choose it for me. Many wealthy families send their daughters there. From how it sounds, life there must have been pretty strict. I wouldn't say it was a bad experience, but you're right, it was very strict. Thankfully, I managed to adapt well enough to make a number of friends. Unfortunately, the same can be said for my sister. She found the atmosphere and the religious aspect suffocating, understandable, and ended up leaving for a job as soon as she was able to. Understandable. Yo, I only had 2 religious classes per week in schools and I found that suffocating. Also, there is something I saw today which is quite freaking ridiculous. I don't know if I'll be able to find it for. There was like a comparison of subjects in Poland, and it's so freaking ridiculous that religion is taking much more time when stuff that would be useful, not to mention stuff that could be useful, but it's not in the program at all. Just seriously. Polish schooling, I'm gonna say it as well. It's not about schooling only. Poland is a joke. Holland is a joke. I won't find it now. Damn, where? I wish I could find this graph to have the percentage. Maybe it will be soon. Okay, let's get the game. I will try to scroll on the side. She gives a small, self-depreciating chuckle. I shouldn't complain about it, for not many. Even I have the chance to go to such a school. Did I say even I? Not many even have the chance to go to such a school. Do you resent your parents for sending you there leaving? Then leaving? She gently shakes her head. I mean, what? Oh, speaking of charges as well, why are they not taxed, right? That's also one of the most ridiculous things. My family is high patriarchal. My father's business, always on his mind, was entirely lost as to what to do with me. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. I will save it and maybe add it to the video, or maybe not. But like stuff like entrepreneurship is like, okay, amount of hours throughout 12 years. Entrepreneurship 74. Something that basically is how do you call it? I guess you could call it engineering of sorts, but not really. 74 as well. No, sorry, it's 111. Something is ADB. I don't even know what that is. I didn't have that. Learning of society 148. Music and arts 148. That wasn't my thing too. IT 296. Okay, imagine this. IT in 12 years 296 hours. Same for physics and chemistry. And religion has 888. Why? What's the point? It's so ridiculous. Science, geography 333 hours. Biology 407. The second foreign language, so in my case that would be German. For some schools it's Spanish as well. Only for 4 hours. Histories a little about over 600 hours. And this crap takes almost 900. This is so ridiculous. This is a waste of time, to be honest. Religion shouldn't even be at school. Then again, I had less hours because I didn't attend in high school. Wow, this is turning into a weird video. Anyway, I read this. In the end, he made the decision that my education was of higher priority than staying with the family. Maybe. I mean, from one point I understand. Why would someone like do that? From the other, it probably gets kind of lonely, right? But then again, I wouldn't mind myself going to some school where I would have to live in dormitories or something. I mean, it must be a good experience for your life as well. And I guess I don't have that. He simply did what he thought was best. Yeah. To say such things so easily. What an unbelievable girl. That said, I'm a little surprised she doesn't think her blindness played any part at all. For maybe I'm being too harsh on her family. Yeah, I think you might be, I guess. Whatever. You're too kind-hearted, you know that. Huh? Most would hate their parents for something like that. Well, some do. I guess you are speaking of your sister now, right? Obvious to my raised eyebrow, she takes a sip from her glass. The wine slips down effortlessly, her fondness for it evidently helping her deal with the flavor of alcohol. I can say the same goes for me. What of yourself? What was your schooling like? Well, I explained just a second ago. Kind of. Mine? Let's see. It was a fairly normal public school. I suppose maybe a bit busier than the norm. Yeah, mine were not really busy, to be fair. I did quite well in class and played in the soccer club. I mean, the fact that this describes me. Thanks, Katawa Shoujo. Since I'm an only child and my parents both worked a lot. Yeah, that's also about me. I wasted most of my free time and money at the arcade with my 3 friends. Okay, that line is not about me. I had not much free time because, again, school and then football. And even if I wasn't in a club, I would play on my own, on the outside in the garden or whatever. And we don't have arcades here, damn it! No matter how much I played for, I never did manage to beat Mai at any of those machines. Who? Even Takumi and Shin, who? Lost to her whenever I tried. Then I'd be left trying to be the responsible adult when Shin and Mai fought again. Just the 4 of us, aimlessly enjoying our childhood. Those were some pretty silly times. Good times. I mean, that's what childhood, I believe, should be about, really. I catch myself as I realize that I'm starting to zone out. The days of my old school disappearing to the night sky and bright city lights outside the window. Lee's face is an odd mixture of curiosity and sympathy. Given her strict schooling, I suppose something like this would seem an interesting contrast to the only life she's known. I mean, yeah, vast difference. It sounds like your previous school was a lot of fun. I'm not really sure how much of it is nostalgia, but there are some nice memories. I mean, yeah. I mean, primary school and junior high school, yes. Because I didn't enjoy high school. That's in the past form, I can't go back there now. But through my accident, I found a new life I'd never have imagined leading. I mean, sure, there are some good memories from high school, but other than that, like, nah. Compared to the schools before that. Really weak. The peace and calm of Yamaku, a new direction for my future in science. The friendship of Shizune, Misha, Hanako, and most of all, you. She gives a deep, genuine smile as she moves her hands towards me. Her fingers are slightly searching out my face before softly caressing my cheek. Wishy nose, but okay. Her hand reluctantly retreats after a second of warm silence, as we notice the waiter arriving with our meals. Lee does a deft job of covering her condition, except for the fact that her nod to him is slightly misaligned due to his silence. Shirley seems to work hard at appearing as normal as possible in public. I mean, I don't think she needs to hide it. While I noticed long ago, I still can't quite gauge whether it's a wants not to be treated differently, a slight sense of vanity, or some mixture of both. Understandable, I guess. The dish served lives up to the salad name. Lives up to the salad name. Can we have a look? Let's have a look at the food. I mean, there is some egg here. I'm guessing tomato. Some kind of mushrooms. I think cut cucumber. Oh, of course, lettuce, I guess. I don't know if anything else. I can't really tell. Anyway. And the portions are pleasantly large, with sliced eggs and tomato. I was correct about that at least. It looks very enticing indeed. Lee takes her knife in one hand and fork in the other, quickly getting work on the dish side. It's later than when we usually have dinner, so we're both eager to dig in. Itadakimasu. I actually, before recording, had some yogurt. My cautious scoring of leaves and vaguely meat-like squares with my fork is matched by Lee's silent and measured prodding and chewing. An occasional tap around the sides of a piece of the food to work out its edges is the only giveaway to her lack of sight. I'm done with my meal in little time, Lee taking the last few bites as I sit observing her. Finished, Hisao? Yeah, it's pretty nice. By the way, I'm into those dresses as well. They are so good looking. Oh, she also has like a flower. God damn it, flower pattern. Nice. Like, it's not like crazy pattern. It's like nice addition here. That much is very true. I never thought a simple salad could be so tasty and filling. I mean, you had eggs there, so it could be filling. But again, I suppose that's why it costs so much to eat here. Content with my appraisal, and evidently agreeingly gives a small nod. You know, given that you're part foreign, exotic looking and quite pretty. Very pretty. Exotic look... I wouldn't say it's exotic looking, but okay. I'm surprised that nobody's ever confessed to you before. Actually, we don't know. You're assuming nobody did? The simple statement takes me off guard. I shouldn't be surprised, given that I was complimenting her just months before. Really? I've received several confessions, both in this school and my previous one. Ow! Adolescence is a funny time. What do you mean? She's kinda talking as if she's about it herself. How is you say such thing? Lily looks surprised for a moment before a playful smirk covers her face. Is that jealousy? Yeah. Yeah, it is. God damn it. If I said then I'm just the jealous type, like super ridiculously, unfortunately. It annoys me a bit, but yeah. What? No, it isn't. I would say straight up yes. You're a bad liar, Hisao. You should take that into account. Then again, I do appreciate how sincere you are, even if you don't intend to be sometimes. I think your honesty will always serve you well when dealing with others. I'll clear my throat in mock disapproval of this whole business and try to steer the conversation elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, I bet you don't want to talk about your confessing experience from the past. Episode 1 on the playlist. In case you haven't seen it. 1? Yeah, it was 1. To tell the truth, though, I do prefer solitude to being surrounded by others. I don't think I could maintain a social circle like you do. Same. She contemplates this for a moment. I don't think that's true either. I've seen how gentle and caring you are around Hanako, and you get on marvelously well with others, even those whom you hardly know. I think you're quite adept at social situations. But on that note, what of your confessions, Hisao? I'm sure someone like you must have had at least one admirer. I don't want to talk about it. As I open my mouth to speak, I can feel my face turn slightly dour. At times like this, I secretly appreciate the fact that she can see my expressions. Just one. Her name was Iwanako. It was when she questioned me that I had my heart attack, and there in the woods during winter. Lily finds herself speechless. I'm surprised she's not laughing. I'm kidding. I mean, I couldn't contain myself back then. Not expecting for the topic to move into such an area. My condition has always been something of a concern for her. Something that I strive to minimize despite my body's best efforts to the contrary. Afterwards, she visited me for a while when I was in the hospital, and for a week she came and talked. It was usually just small talk for classroom gossip, but that was enough. But eventually she just stopped coming. She was there every day, then every other day, then once a week, and then finally one day she just stopped visiting entirely. Did you ever see her again? Wrapped in my own little world, I shake my head before remembering the futility of the gesture, mention the letter, drop the subject. Oh my god, are you kidding me? I mean, technically the question was, did you ever... It should be have you, by the way, but whatever. Have you ever seen her again? No, technically no, I have not. I mean, hey, it's Lily, we can be open about stuff, right? The memory of the last Single letter Ivanako sent me comes to my mind. I never saw her again, but after I was sent to Yamaku, she wrote me one letter. This face shows an expression I know well. I've piqued her interest. Oh no! I'd be slightly offended that it's simply a matter of curiosity for her, but she's never been very good at masking her reactions. In hindsight, it really didn't say much. What was going on in my old class, how she was faring, and almost as the nerve thought that it was probably best for the both of us that we don't see each other again. After reading it, I ended up reassessing a lot of things I thought I managed to work out. For the most part, that letter reminded me that the world around me was still moving and just how much I'd become isolated from it. And I guess it also reminded me of what I'd lost. She gives the information somewhat before her face lights up in realization. No doubt she's worked out that it was this letter which had contributed to my angst during that lunch on the rooftop. It's a rare sight to see Lilly quiet, so lost for words. And a person I feel too deflated from her earlier rapt interest. As charismatic as she is, in the end, that isn't a replacement for life, nor relationship experience. Click. Perhaps it is better she sent it than not. I mean, it doesn't really matter. How's that? It can be difficult to work out how best to communicate with those you haven't met in a long time. All the more so considering your separate situations. Ow, my leg. Instead of doing what was easiest, she built up the courage to talk to you one last time. Not only for her sake, but from how it sounds for yours as well. Maybe. I don't hate her for it. Not that I really ever did, but I don't know. Probably a more non-committal answer than I should give, but it isn't without cause. I had never looked at the situation from Iwanako's perspective like that before. Seconds pass in silence before Lee speaks again. Moving to Yamaku must have been far for you. Having your friends and even your girlfriend taken from you. She wasn't his girlfriend for, let's face it. For no fault of your own. She wasn't a girlfriend. She just confessed there was no after events. Right? He didn't accept or anything. I would like to point this out. Anyway, the worst of it passed while I was in the hospital. When all that surrounds you is four white walls and a small TV, your mind takes on a life of its own. It's like my old school, I guess. I just try not to dwell on what's happened and keep thinking ahead. All that reminiscing does it get me down, and it's largely thanks to you that it feels like things are finally getting back on track. That's pleasing to hear, Hisao. She lowers her face slightly, her expression pensive. I guess I went too far and embarrassed her. I suppose you went through something a bit like that. Like what I did when you entered Yamaku anyway, right? I imagine the vast majority of our school students did, after all. You said yourself that you made friends in your old school. I can imagine many followed you. Lee's deep smile drops, her expression unexpectedly darkening. Even her hands retreat to her lap. After a long while, she speaks. Hisao, can you promise not to tell anyone else what I'm about to? I promise. Guys, we are not speaking about it to anyone. Zip up. Okay? She looks slightly taken aback by my serious tone, but then relents and smiles quickly before continuing. When I moved to Yamaku, I did regret losing the friends I'd had at my older school. But there was one person whom I most regretted not seeing again. He was the reason I took up English as a future career. Oh shit. The jealousy just rising up. Considering she came from an all-girl school, that can't have been a schoolmate then. Don't tell me you had freaking... Please, no. No, not a crush on the teacher. Please, please, please. I rejected the confessions I'd received until then for him. Every time I improved my English skills, his praise was my most treasured reward. It's fun, isn't it? Someone like me, able to boast about the people who have set eyes on me, liking someone so utterly unattainable as my tutor. Wow. It's truly the most ridiculous thing. Did you? She quickly shakes her head from side to side. I couldn't. Even then, I knew it was impossible. Oof. A silence reigns over both of us. This does seem to explain her ardent focus on her future in teaching English, but I can't help thinking of her confession to me. She lost him without ever letting her feelings be known. Did she somehow fear that it would happen again? But with me? I don't really know what to make of it. I've heard of such a relationship before. Taboos, born of such things as poverty and youth. The fact that she had the good judgment not to act on it for is heartening. I know this must sound strange, but please, don't think of me. Why would I think any loss of you for that? What? To be honest, I think he must have been a very nice person if you like him so much. Not only that, but you stopped herself before going too far. For a moment she looks somewhat lost. Most unexpectedly, for it isn't a second before she starts to laugh. The sound takes me off guard. It's not a Google or a strange chuckle, but honest and genuine laughter. I find myself smiling, and not just as a display of relief and happiness, but for her to trust me enough to let me see this most private of secrets. Before I realize it, I feel her palm touching my face. The touch is gentle as ever, with her thumb slowly stroking my cheek. You're kind, Hisao. I really do love you. Seeing her face like this, with her palm gently caressing my face, I think tonight has been a wonderful night. I guess we've both had pretty weird pasts, huh? Right? I think by most standards, our present is rather odd as well. I smile and hang my head. This woman can easily run rings around me, of that I'm quite sure. I look back around the room, with its continued quiet hum of patrons. This place probably fits into the odd category too. It is a tad overbearing. That's one word for it, yeah. I catch the eye of a scurrying waiter, a short, scrawny guy no older than 20. He kind of reminds me of Kenji. Kenji, what are you doing here? For unlike him, the waiter isn't dressed for winter during midsummer. Would be funny if it was him. After a curt bow and an offer to remove our plates, Lee asks for the bill politely and softly. With expert coordination, he maneuvers around the tables, our plates in hands to retrieve our bill. In no time, he reappears through the doors, smartly handing our bill to Lilly, who promptly hands it to me, causing him to raise an eyebrow. Rest in peace, wallet! As I read a small computer-printed leaflet, the cost is considerably more than I expected. Hisao? I quickly stammer out the amount, to which Lily merely nods and reaches for her purse. Giving her card to the waiter, he disappears once again. That was a disproportionately large amount of money for a salad. The statement seems to make Lily slightly uncomfortable. My family needs me more than enough for my education. The same goes for my sister, for she dislikes being reminded of that fact. I mean, from what Akira is doing, you can tell she's earning enough. Anyway, that said, I too dislike throwing money about. Yes, but this one time I think I can make an exception just for you. Not only did you choose our date, but you paid for both of us as well. I take the bridge of my nose in my fingers. I can't believe how high you have set the bar for our next date. Oh my god. She gives a small giggle. I'll be looking forward to it, Hisao. The waiter reappears beside us, as if by magic, and hands this card back to her, evidently picking up on her lack of sight. He places the card in her hand with an extra, perhaps unneeded amount of firmness to make sure of her grip. Leaving, he exercises a measure of diplomacy by keeping a neutral face despite my own expression. Clapping my hands together, I stand up from my seat in order to bring an end to our night out. Shall we be off then, milady? Yes, we shall. Okay, intermission. The entire episode is a date. It was a good date. Hope you enjoyed seeing it, and will of course continue tomorrow with this lovely game. Hope to see you in the next one. Hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully nothing will get in the way again. Bye bye.